SaintsWeekly. I'm Ella Carter.
And I'm Ramsey Kimbrough. Ella, you're a new driver, right?
I am.
Speaking of new drivers, let's go to SaintsWeekly's Nathan Clark and talk about the sophomores and what they have to go through from their walk from the sophomore parking lot.
We all know the struggle of parking in the sophomore parking lot and walking. Let's talk to an expert and see if it's going to change. Ms. Smith, people are hoping for a new sophomore lot for a shorter walk. What do you have to say on that?
I'm saying that there is nothing in the work for that for a long time.
We've all heard about a new parking lot getting built this year, but the new incoming sophomores will not be getting a new parking lot. What's it like to have to walk all the way up from that sophomore lot?
It sucks so much. I want to die.
Most likely, if you have your license, you know what it's like to walk that long, treacherous walk that can do horrible things to a human. It can make you regret getting a license, but luckily you only have to endure it until you're a junior and senior. What do you think about the sophomore lot?
Personally, I think that the sophomore lot really sucks and that it's a miserable walk up, especially when it's cold. But since every sophomore has to go through it, I guess it's fair because you know that the next couple of years you're going to actually have a good parking spot.
You heard it here first. The sophomore lot's going to have no changes. This is Nathan Clark reporting for SaintsWeekly.
Thanks, Nathan.
Seems like a pretty big hike to me, don't you think?
I agree. Let's hear from Addie, who's talking to upperclassmen who have more experience for the younger drivers.
Okay, here at OCS we have a lot of drivers, some who've been driving for a while and some who just started driving. Today we're going to go talk to them and see what they think about driving. Come on, let's go! Today we're going to be talking to some experienced drivers and their advice to upcoming drivers.
Stop at red lights and look both ways.
The biggest thing I've learned, when I first started driving, was that you don't have to leave your blinker on for a whole street. You turn it off right after. I didn't learn that until for a long time.
So I would give to a new driver would be that if you would like to save some money on gas, what I do is I won't let my RPMs go above 2,000. So instead of filling up once every week, because I have a truck, I have to fill up more once every 2 weeks, and it saves me some money.
Let's hear what the upcoming drivers have to say. I'm excited to drive so I can go to restaurants and get food. One of my concerns of driving would probably be the other people driving next to me and the others on the road.
Freedom and driving to school and not having my mom drive me to school anymore.
Okay, what are some things you're nervous about for driving?
Getting in a wreck, especially if my car is expensive and my dad gets me.
So I'm definitely excited for having the freedom to go places whenever I want and just don't have to rely on someone else to drive me.
Thanks, Addie. I'll definitely be using some of those tips behind the wheel.
Sophomore year is already a doozy, but one of the things that makes it better is some of the teachers that can help us out along the way.
One of my favorites, Mr. Nichols, our history teacher.
You know, it'd be really cool to see a day in his life.
Let's hear from Kennedy about what that's like.
Coach Nichols is a student and teacher-wide favorite at OCS. Let's get to know him a little bit better. This past year, Mr. Nichols led the OCS cross-country team to their first state victory under his coaching.
A day in the life of Nichols. Well, so every morning I wake up, I eat my Wheaties, and I become a champion. Every single morning I wake up a champion. Actually, to be perfectly honest, being me is very entertaining. You never know what's going to happen. And then just moving through and just being myself, it's being unusual. It's about my day.
Nichols is definitely one of my favorite teachers, but you never know what to expect in his class. Every day is something very different and new.
Mr. Nichols is a really fun teacher and I learn a ton in his class.
Mr. Nichols is an interesting man. I'm glad we got to know him a little bit better. This is Kennedy Peach from SaintsWeekly signing off.
Thank you, Kennedy and Cooper. That was really interesting. Ella, you know who else would be really cool to see a day in the life in? Reed! Let's go to Jay Scott to see a day in the life of Reed Goforth.
Here at OCS, there are lots of interesting students, but one among them is the most interesting of all. His name is Reed Goforth.
What do I think of Reed Goforth? Well, I've known Reed since 5th grade, and That man is just a different breed, I'll tell you.
Reed Goforth is one of my favorite people to be around in journalism class, and we both love Beatles, and yeah.
I think Reed is an amazing individual. Quite secretive though.
My favorite memory with Reed was probably 5th grade. We were playing on Synergy together, and I was driving down, shoot a layup. I was like, psych, pass that right out to Reed. Reed shoots game-winning shot 3, clutches up. That's when we became best friends.
It was fun whenever me and Reed made our music video with Summer, which started the whole Reed and Summer fiasco.
Well, let's go see what he does during the day.
I went and got gas in my car. Went to go get some food. Just to go to the park, you know, with Summer, you know, put on some Frank Ocean.
Reed Goforth is the love of my life. I met him when we were filming a music video, and I think that's just when I knew it was right.
Well, he truly is one of the most interesting students at our school.
Reed's a pretty cool guy, and he's smart too. Speaking of grades, how are your grades?
Pretty good. How are yours, Ella?
Let's hear from Ethan about people's favorite subjects.
There are a lot of different subjects in OCS, which got me thinking, which one's favorite and why?
Favorite subject is English because I love Miss Strauss.
My favorite subject is A-Push because I get to learn a lot.
My favorite subject is chemistry because I love Mrs. Gately. She's my favorite teacher.
My favorite subject is recess. I love recess.
My favorite subject is art because I like coloring.
My favorite subject has got to be 7th grade English class because...
You're so cool.
English is my favorite subject because we read books and they're interesting. They're fun.
Favorite school subject is, of course, history. Why? Because it's very historical. No, because you can just learn a lot from it, you can grow, and you can become a better person if you learn from your history and actually pay attention to it.
A lot of amazing and unique different perspectives. This is Ethan Stovall with Saints Weekly signing off.
Those are some pretty tough subjects. My favorite subject is...
Did you feel that, Ella?
Yeah.
That's pretty spooky.
Speaking of spooky, there has been some weird stuff going on here.
Have you heard about the bus barn mystery?
I have not.
Let's go to White Cole. He's going to debunk it for us.
Good evening, fellow Saints. You might not know this, but there's been a tragedy a long time ago in this bus barn. We're going to dig right into it.
There was a murder 50 years ago in this very bus, and the body was never found.
Follow me to the crime scene. The weapon used for this murder is still here today, and so is the pile of blood. This weapon was used on the patient to strangle him to death. And that's how the murder happened. Or so they say. Because it's a mystery. This is the very desk that the murderer sat at. And they had to move it here for storage. Because it is now... Well, Saints, turns out that this murder will always remain a mystery.
Man, I might need to go lay down after that story. That was a doozy.
You should check out the new furniture in the Commons.
Oh, I've heard that furniture is really nice. Let's hear from Joe Michael and Brooks about that story.
We all love the furniture here at OCS.
We recently got some new furniture in the Commons. Let's do our part to take care of the furniture and clean up after ourselves so we can make sure that it lasts a long time and stays in good condition.
John Michael and Brooks. I'm going to need to go check that out.
Next, let's hear from Saints Weekly's Tyler about how sports have been affected this year through the COVID season. Take it away, Tyler.
The basketball season about midway so far. Let's talk to a few players and see how the season is going.
How's the basketball season going so far?
We've had some struggles this year, but we're starting to finally mesh together, and that's the varsity side. It's kind of fun seeing Joel Reiner lead the JV squad. He's really producing in practices and stuff, so it's fun to see.
Right now, the Saints are 5-4 and are looking to improve that record.
How's the season going so far?
We're off to a historic start so far. We're having a really great season.
That's money.
How's the basketball season going so far, and what do you have plans for the rest of the season?
Well, for starters, the JV team is undefeated. And on our sixth season in the quest for the JV state championship, I expect us to continue to just march on, getting closer to that. Guys growing, getting better. Hopefully we can just keep winning games. On the varsity side, a lot of guys playing more minutes than they have in the past, so we've been learning some. We've had a few guys back off last year's state tournament team, but also some guys that were on the team just didn't play quite as much, so they're stepping into new roles and done a good job of filling those roles and growing into them, and I think that we'll just keep getting better with each game and with each bit of experience that we get.
Great insight, Coach.
Reporting for Saints Weekly, this is Tyler Charlson.
Thanks, Tyler.
That was some really interesting insight.
Baseball has been one of the sports affected this year.
Let's go to Jack Sampson to hear about the new restrictions.
In case you didn't know, this year we got a new OCS head baseball coach, and I bet you're all wondering how this season is going to end up being.
What I like about last season, what I like about this season compared to last was new coach. I like the new coach, pretty cool guy,
Obviously, from that extremely enthusiastic interview, you can tell that all the players on the OCS baseball team love their new coach.
No. I just think in baseball this year, we're just it's being taken more seriously, and it's more of a priority sport and less of a secondary.
Because neither of the coaches have any other responsibilities, baseball is getting a lot more attention this year.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this season. We've been putting in a lot of work over the fall and getting into the spring, and I know the guys are excited. Think we got a good group here, should be able to make quite a run as long as we execute the things that we've been working on all fall, and so I'm really pumped to get after it. Love these guys, and go Saints.
This year's baseball team is receiving a lot of love, and the boys have been practicing very hard. Go Saints! This season is definitely going to be one of the best. Reporting for Saints Weekly, this is Jack Sampson.
Thank you, Jack. It's kind of crazy how COVID has affected all of us, isn't it, Ella? How's it affected you the most?
Well, a lot of my family hasn't been able to come to my volleyball games, but we've gone through it.
Right. For me, it's been my cheer competitions. We had to change to a whole new competition this year.
It's all been a struggle for all of us, but we're trying to get through it. Reporting for Saints Weekly, I'm Ella Carter.
And I'm Ramsey Kimbrough.